All right, let's talk about something I think a lot of us know, maybe a little too well, that all-consuming crush. You know, the one that basically builds a whole secret world inside your head? It's way more than just a simple attraction. And believe it or not, there's actually a word for it. So yeah, let's dive in.
So, have you ever been just completely captivated by someone? To the point where you're replaying every single little interaction, building this entire universe in your mind all around them? If you're nodding along right now, trust me, you are not alone. This is an incredibly common thing, and today we're going to finally put a name to that feeling. Okay, so the term for this is limerence. And look, this isn't just a big crush. It's an involuntary state. That's the key part. It feels like you don't even have a choice in the matter. It's all about this intense, overwhelming infatuation and, this is crucial, obsessive thoughts about a person. It's really the difference between, I like them, and I literally cannot stop thinking about them.
Now, here's what's so fascinating about this. Limerence isn't just this one static feeling. Oh no, it's a whole process, a journey that unfolds over time, and it usually follows a surprisingly predictable pattern, with these really distinct emotional phases. And understanding those phases can actually help make sense of what feels like a totally chaotic experience.
So, what are these phases? Well, there are 3 of them. First, you've got infatuation. That's the hopeful beginning. Then comes crystallization, which is where the obsession really takes hold. And finally, you get to deterioration. And that's when the fantasy kind of comes crashing into reality. So, let's start at the very beginning with phase 1.
All right, phase 1, the innocent spark. This is where it all begins. It's the beautiful, hopeful, and what feels like a completely harmless start to the whole thing.
And think about it, right? It's almost never some big, grand event. Limerence usually gets ignited by the tiniest little detail. A glance, the way their voice sounds, one single sentence they say. It's just this little thing that completely hooks your imagination and makes you go, whoa, there's something there. I need to know more.
And in the beginning, this part feels amazing. It's almost like an awakening. The euphoria you feel is this huge rush of energy, and it can make you so creative. It's like, in your daydreams about them, you're not just thinking about them, you're also exploring a version of yourself that you want to be, maybe stronger or funnier or more talented.
Yeah, this often leads to a genuine burst of productivity. You might find yourself writing fan fiction, spending hours curating the absolute perfect playlist, creating mood boards, the whole shebang. You might even discover new hobbies just because they're into them. And you feel so connected, even though it's all happening in your head. But, and there's always a but, right? Eventually, that feeling just isn't enough. And that right there leads us straight into phase 2, the emotional roller coaster. This is where the energy shifts, big time. That fun, innocent euphoria, it starts to morph into something else, a restless, all-consuming fixation. This whole phase is defined by what you could call an emotional pendulum. You're just constantly swinging back and forth between these 2 crazy extremes. On one side, a new photo drops, a new post goes up, any little crumb of hope, and you are on top of the world. Pure elation. But then, on the other side, even the slightest hint that they might be taken, or just that cold, hard reality that you're not actually in their life, it's just utter, crushing despair.
Meanwhile, your brain has basically gone into overdrive. You become this master detective, just observing, analyzing, and trying to interpret every single tiny detail. What did that smile mean? Why did they like that particular picture? Pretty soon, every song on the radio, every place you go, it all becomes associated with them, until your whole world just revolves around this constant analysis.
And let me tell you, this roller coaster is absolutely exhausting. The side effects are so draining. You've got these constant, overwhelming daydreams that get in the way of your actual life. You can't stop checking their social media. Your thoughts are racing a mile a minute when you're trying to sleep. You might even start pulling away from your real friends because, well, the real world starts to feel kind of dull compared to the fantasy. And then that horrible nagging feeling starts to creep in that maybe you're just not good enough.
Look, this intense, draining state, it just can't last forever. Something's got to give. And that brings us to the final and often the most painful stage, phase 3, the dream crumbles.
This right here is the crucial moment. It's the collision. It's that jarring moment when the beautiful world you built inside your head just slams headfirst into the hard, cold facts of reality. This is the turning point. The illusion just can't be sustained anymore.
And the trigger for this can be something really specific, right? Like you see a post of them with their partner and your heart just sinks.
Or sometimes it's more of a slow, creeping realization that, you know what, you're probably never going to meet them. And even if you did, they wouldn't be the person you created in your story. The dream starts to fall apart, and man, it hurts a lot. So after the crash, it is so easy to feel embarrassed or full of regret. But here's the thing. What if we reframed this whole experience? The real takeaway here isn't about the other person. It's that limerence, as painful as it gets, can actually be an incredibly powerful clue to understanding yourself better. So instead of beating yourself up for living in a fantasy, try shifting to a place of compassionate curiosity. You can start to ask a totally different kind of question. Not, why was I so crazy, but what was this all about? What was my own mind trying to tell me through this incredibly intense experience? And this really is the key question you can ask yourself. What do I long for so deeply that I was searching for it in an idea of someone else? The sheer intensity of your feelings. That's a direct reflection of your own inner longing. What were you really hoping to find in them? What deep down need was this whole fantasy trying to fulfill? Because here's the truth. What you were searching for wasn't a mistake or something to be ashamed of. Limerence is really just a super amplified expression of our most profound, deeply human desires. We're talking about the need for true connection, for a life that has deeper meaning, for that amazing feeling of being seen and appreciated. At the end of the day, it's about the universal desire to feel fully, completely alive, and, of course, to love and be loved in return. And all of this leads to the most empowering question of all. Once you can name what you were longing for, you can ask yourself, okay, can I learn to give some of that to myself? Can I find ways to feel alive and connected right here in my own real life without needing an illusion? It's all about taking that incredible amount of energy you poured into a fantasy and finally reinvesting it back into your own reality. So at the end of the day, limerence isn't really just an obsession with another person. You can think of it like a detour, and it's a detour that, if you learn how to read it correctly, actually becomes a map. It's a map that points directly to your deepest needs, your forgotten passions, and your own incredible capacity for love. It's a map that ultimately can lead you right back home, to yourself. Now, if this really hit home for you and you want to learn more, you can check out the book Loving an Illusion by Anne Skye. And if you're looking for support and connection, there's a community called Limerence Pathfinders over on the School platform. It's a great space to share what you're going through and understand these really powerful feelings with other people who totally get it.